Okay, how to get to your freedom number. I'm going to try to go a little bit fast because there are a lot of concepts, but you can look more for them. I just want you to have the main idea of them. First, I would start saying two things. In the past, um, we have different types of revenue, let's say, and they typically they come based on our business itself. Like if we have a product, if we have a service, if we have a solution, like whatever we're selling, it came from the business. Now we have something else that contributes to that, and that is how we actually promote and maybe even go to market, and different, like there are different ways that we can really leave no money on the table. We just need to know about them and then add a little bit of strategy to that. So the first of all, first of all, I want to speak about revenue streams. So you're gonna hear in business a lot about revenue streams, and basically this means if you think about a lake that's in the middle, there's gonna be rivers that are feeding up that big, pool of water, kind of. So those are the different streams, and in this case, we call them revenue streams. So there are some active income, which is salary, consulting, freelance, and it says um, trading, you know, time for money. In some cases, maybe yes, maybe not. Um, might not necessarily be time, right? But let's say we have different, and the active income. We have passive income, which is earning that it's set once and then it's just going to give us. For example, in here, if you write a book, or if you have like something that it's there and just passively money is coming to you. Part of this, for example, might be affiliate, like anything affiliate that might be coming from this, right? If you, all of them can can flow for sure, right? Like even like I have people telling me, well, the difference like with active income, if I do something like um, even affiliate might be both. It could be active and it could be passive, because you could have affiliate as part of your core business. So that's going to be different from just something that you're just recommending, right? So it's a little bit more passive. You don't necessarily need to do a lot. You just have a cut kind of in that. Um, so, it depends on how you want to categorize it, but you want to know first that they are revenue streams. Part of the revenue stream is what I'm speaking about with how we go to market, and I'm going to speak about it later, but we have that. Um, then we have a concept that's called recurring revenue. One of the best things that we can do for our business is to try to think of a way that we could add a recurring revenue um, component to our business. And we would need to brainstorm on ideas, but again, if you want to use AI, you could ask like, what could I do to keep on adding this? um, what works, communities, anything that's software. Even recurring revenue might be affiliate. So if you are promoting a software, or if you are like, I don't know, anything that people would keep on buying and buying and buying month after month after month. If you do a club on something, like if you do, let's say that you have a, let's say my cousin that has that, like she could have people that subscribe and join the community, or do something like that, and they do a club like every month I'm gonna share a new recipe, and they pay something like, I don't know, whatever, $3, but then people like, they're gonna be doing, right? So we have recurring revenue. What it's giving us recurring revenue is predictable revenue, basically. So we get to predict. Of course, there's churn, and there are different concepts like in ARR, or monthly, and or MRR, which is monthly recurring revenue, or annual recurring revenue. there are different ways that you can do, but the truth is, as long as things keep on going, like, it's you get to kind of like predictively say, I know that this amount, all all going like normal and people using it, the more that I kind of like make it needed, it's gonna keep on coming, and it's gonna keep on getting into my bank account. um, then we have affiliate marketing. Like, this is very big right now. Like, we have everything that can come from that. Like, we have, for example, in this course, right, like, if you promote it, you get some affiliate commission. um, there is softwares that you can use, like, from going from AI to more complex stuff, like CRMs or marketing automation, like many things that you get to use. And then if you give to others and they start to use, then you're getting. Another part of affiliate, for example, is with Amazon. Let's say that, again, I'm going to go back to my cousin, that she has this store. Let's say that she's doing her recipes, and in her recipes she's using stuff, she's using pots, and maybe she has a some, like, whatever that might be. In Amazon, they have an affiliate program, so you get to share the link with that. For example, for me, I get those to promote books. So I mean, in the things that I'm doing, I'm promoting a lot of books. You have to be very, like, careful in terms of, if you're doing Amazon, like, you're gonna have a different affiliate link depending on where the people is joining from. And a lot of creators just have it in the US, but really, you could have different, like, for me, most of the time I share a link for Canada and a link for the US, so you have that. Then we have passive income. We talk about it a little bit, but even like dividends and stuff like that. If you have rental, like ebooks, like things that once you do it, you don't need to keep on showing up to deliver them. Yes, you might need to promote them more or less, but in general, like, you already created it. That's it. Um, we have the compound, everything that you get to stack it, and then it's kind of like accelerated growing over time. This stuff I don't really know much about. Automation and systems, not in the ultimate savings, but for sure there are different technologies that can help you to save time. One of the things that I've learned about entrepreneurship, that it's very important that you're aware, is that there comes a time, we so many times are so um, we're so set in, we don't want to expand, that there are times that we might be spending more than we think, um, on different stuff. Like, it's I remember many years ago, like 6 years ago, I was in a business training, um, and they were saying, like, it's when you hire some like someone to do something, you're buying back your time at a discount rate. So basically, there are things that we just don't want to do because it feels like, oh my God, I'm going to give away. But what we can get back in return is just so much more. And that frees us to do more of the things that give us bigger money than just doing something. Like, this happened a lot with stuff like laundry and cleaning the house and things like that, that sometimes, like, we think, no, it's a luxury. But if we start to notice the amount of time that we spend of those things, it might make sense. Again, it depends on where you're at, but just to be aware of that. Scaling and reinvesting, this is a very big part. Like, try not to settle. Again, you need to be smart, but for me, um, it is a good idea to think about how, even what percentage that what you're making and what's coming in, does it make sense to go back into reinvestment, so that that dollar that you're spending turns into three. That right now, yeah, you're receiving one. If you, instead of keeping it in your pocket, you go back and bring it into the business, might come into three, right? Uh so yeah, this is kind of like, ways that you get to your freedom number. So now the story might start to look up, right? So if you think about it, let's say I would, I was debating this one, but because, if we have a salary or a job, um, is it giving money to our freedom number? You might say yes, but I wouldn't count it, because if there's anything here that you need to take away, that that it needs to come off for you to get freedom, because there's a reason why it's called freedom number. So what do you want? And again, you might not want this freedom. You might want to have an extra $2,000, let's say, because you want to hire a chef and someone to clean your house. If that's what freedom means to you, because you want to keep your job, like everything else you want to keep, but you want to bring this additional money to be able to do that, that's perfect, right? But you need to define freedom, and anything that it's not going to collaborate towards your freedom shouldn't be here. For example, someone that already has a business might want to get to a freedom number, but really they want to, remove time being in front of people. Maybe, like I work with a lot of people that, yes, they are doing, and they already have a business and it's good, whatever, but they still need to be very involved in the business and they don't want to do it. So part of that is, I mean, first of all, let's not think about the things that you specifically need to do as part of this. Of course, it's not that if you have business income, you would take it away. It would come in a different way. For example, as part of getting to that freedom number, you need to, like, you're not taking the money away from here as a stream, but you might say, I need to hire a CEO. So in order to add to my freedom number, I need to add the salary of that person, because that's what's going to give me the freedom. So to get there, I need to add whatever, $30,000 a month salary for this person, to be a CEO of my small company, whatever that might. I mean, I don't even know what the salary might be, but like that's kind of like how you need to think about potential revenue streams. So if I go back for me, I know that what would contribute to my freedom number would be freelancer and consulting. It would be affiliate marketing, digital products, and subscriptions. Like those are the main things that will add. I do not have rental property. I do not have any dividends, and it's not even going to be a priority right now. The ways that I can be doing it are this, right? So I know, and I need to create things that are going to impact this part of the equation. Now, I mentioned that in the past we only have, like, if we think about this is part of our job, right? Like, I mean, this is part of the business that we're delivering. We have a salary, of course, it's part of our job. We were consulting, this is part of our business. Like all of this stuff, it's part of the core assets that we have. Even if it's a rental property, yeah, I need to have the property. Like it's very related to that. Now, let's say that you have a property, but you start to share online how, things about your property, like how you're keeping it clean, how you're doing this, that, how are you decorating, maybe you're doing some DIY because you like that as well. So in the way to promote your core product, you're also creating um, you're also creating an audience, and I'm not speaking about a community that you can actually monetize, and that could be part of your core revenue streams, because that's like the intent is that. But it's mainly, for example, let's say these videos, like I am doing right, I'm looking for the right keywords, I'm creating shorts, I'm repurposing the content that I'm doing to bring to my main revenue stream that might be, let's say, just for argument's sake here, that I want to give consulting, or I do have a software like we're gonna see later, like I have a place when we can create a marketing, everything, like the landing pages, funnels, like all of that stuff when we get to that part. So I might want to promote that, and that is the main intent. But in the meantime, I'm giving out information that might be good, and a lot of people might tune in, and they, let's say, they like the idea of I'm struggling, you're struggling, so it's very real, so I want to do it. And that starts to bring, and I don't know, let's see what happens. And we get to 100,000 people and X amount of, like, we get, and I start to grow, so that I might start getting some income from that. So now, even the way that I'm promoting my, what was in the past just an expense, and even if it's not an expense, because let's say that I don't necessarily need to, like, I have the option to pay for YouTube ads, but I don't need to. I can grow organically. It's called organic growth or paid. So basically, I can grow organically, and if I do, then I don't need to pay necessarily. It's not going to cost me, but it costs me the time of production. It costs me the content. Like, I'm giving something away for free. Like, this is what I'm doing. In return, I could I have the potential to earn money if people starts to add ads to my content, or like, if YouTube. Now there is another way. In that, brands might see me and call and say, listen, because you're doing this, for example, I'm going to be doing stuff for kids, and and I'm gonna be screen printing, and so maybe people's gonna tell me like, hey, listen, I want to sponsor you. Or maybe, I met with this guy, I actually sent him a message and he responded back, and then of course, like, nothing else happened. I didn't do anything for many years. This was a while back, but he invented a robot, and it was a lot to talk about, like, emotions and things like that. So let's say that he starts to see my audience and then say, like, listen, I just want you to have this thing there. So there are different ways, and it's kind of like part of the creator economy. And then, from marketing to monetization. So there are parts of it, like, I have some examples here. We have YouTube ad revenue, affiliate links. I mean, we've talked about this, so it's a little bit of a mix. We have sponsorships, we have digital products, but this, I mean, I don't know if I would consider it to be part of this, because for me, it's actually something that's kind of like, it can now for sure go more into the core of your offer. But we have crowdfunding, for example, or memberships also. Um, so the only thing I would say is, and I added here. So I mean, first of all, if you have any doubts, like, why share even if you're not an influencer? Do you need to? No, no, of course not. And there's a lot of local that you might not want to get to, but even then, like, I would think that there is for sure a lot of noise now. Like, we're competing against many people, but most likely you have nothing to lose to start to share, and your perspective might be something that people is really looking for. Like, whatever you're doing, whatever you're an expert in, you might actually help people. And if then it could become a way as well to get an additional revenue stream, why not? That's what I would say. Now, with that, I would say don't go trusted, and I don't necessarily love, but again, this might be personal, so it's really up to you, like, what you want to come. But for me, it's very unpredictable. Like, for example, TikTok. I think there was a moment that like, in Canada, you could make some money from it. Maybe you couldn't. Like, again, I wouldn't do it because of that. My intent wouldn't be because I want to get $10,000 from YouTube. It's just a revenue stream that we do not want to leave on the table. Like, this is what I was telling a friend. Like, by we being aware of all the stuff that could happen, and more importantly, what connects you so naturally to what we are trying to do. Like, we shouldn't be, we shouldn't be losing and missing out on that. If it's so far from your core that it would require a lot of effort for you to keep on, and it's just like, and you get $1 from it, but really people is not going to go directly there, so you have it just because I'm greedy and I don't want to leave anything, even though it just doesn't make any sense. Just don't fall under the illusion. But if it's something that it's very close to you, I would say, why would you leave money on the table? So I would just not be counting on it. or just dedicating all the effort towards that specific, like reaching that goal. It's just more like a medium that now, because of the world that we're living in, can actually become into a revenue stream. So of course,